What's up, world? Arthur here. We're back again with The Way of the Superior Man by Deida. We're jumping into Chapter 4, Know Your Real Edge and Don't Fake It. Now, for anybody just tuning in, this book is all about men and masculinity and how men can really step into their own and find their own confidence, their security, their strength, their courage, and understanding as well how men and the masculine can interact with women and the feminine, and how we can both build ourselves up to be stronger than we were before. So Chapter 4, Know Your Real Edge and Don't Fake It. It is honorable for a man to admit his fears, resistance, and edge of practice. It is simply true that each man has his limits, his capacity for growth, and his destiny. But it is dishonorable for him to lie to himself or others about his real place. He shouldn't pretend he is more enlightened than he is, nor should he stop short of his actual edge. The more a man is playing his real edge, the more valuable he is as good company for other men, the more he can be trusted to be authentic and fully present. Where a man's edge is located, it is less important than whether he is actually living his edge in truth rather than being lazy and deluded. Pick an area of your life, perhaps your intimate relationship, your career, your relationship with your kids, or your spiritual practice. For instance, you are currently doing something to earn a living. Where do your fears stop you from making a larger contribution to mankind, from earning a higher income, or from earning money in a more creative and enjoyable way? If you were absolutely fearless, would you be earning a living in exactly the same way as you are now? Your edge is where you stop short, or where you compromise your fullest gift and instead cater to your fears. Have you lost touch with the fears that are limiting you and shaping your income and style of livelihood? If you have deluded yourself and feel that you are not afraid, then you are lying to yourself. All men are afraid unless they are perfectly free. If you cannot admit this, you are pretending to yourself and to others. Your friends will feel your fear even if you do not. Thus, they will lose trust in you, knowing that you are deluding yourself, lying to yourself, and are therefore likely to lie to them consciously or unconsciously. Or perhaps you are very aware of your fears, your fear to take risks, your fear of failing, or your fear of succeeding. Perhaps you were comfortable with your life and you fear the lifestyle change that might accompany a change in career, even though the new career will be closer to what you really want to do with your life. Some men fear the feeling of fear and therefore don't even approach their edge. They choose a job they know they can do well and easily and don't approach the fullest giving of their gift. Their lives are relatively secure and comfortable, but dead. They lack the aliveness, the depth, and the inspirational energy that is the sign of a man living at his edge. If you are this kind of man who is hanging back, working hard perhaps, but not at your real edge, other men will not be able to trust that you can and will help them live at their edge and give their fullest gift. As an experiment, describe your edge with respect to your career out loud to yourself. Say something like, I know I could be earning more money, but I am too lazy to put in the extra hours it would take. I know that I could give more of my true gift, but I'm afraid that I may not succeed, and then I will be a penniless failure. I've spent 15 years developing my career, and I'm afraid to let go of it and start fresh, even though I know that I spend most of my life doing things that I have no real interest in doing. I could be making money in more creative ways, but I spend too much time watching TV rather than being creative. Honor your edge. Honor your choices. Be honest with yourself about them. Be honest with your friends about them. A fearful man who knows he is fearful is far more trustable than a fearful man who isn't aware of his fear. And a fearful man who still leans into his fear, living at his edge and putting his gift out there, is a more trustworthy and more inspirational than a fearful man who hangs back in the comfort zone, unwilling to even experience his fear on a day-to-day level. A free man is free to acknowledge his fears without hiding them or hiding from them. Live with your lips pressed against your fears, kissing your fears, neither pulling back nor aggressively violating them. Live at your edge and don't fake it. So I love what he says at the end there. Live with your lips pressed against your fears, kissing your fears, neither pulling back nor aggressively violating them. And so what he's talking about here is finding that edge point where you push yourself up to your fears. So you don't hang back. You don't avoid it, but you don't overdo it. You don't try to overcompensate, right? And I feel like really what he's talking about here is finding that thing that you do in your life, your purpose, your passion, your mission, right? Finding that thing and giving that gift to the world and doing something that scares you, right? So if you're living in a routine, and it's the same routine and it's getting boring and it's getting repetitive, right? You're not at your edge, you're not pushing yourself. And what he's saying is that if you want to excel in life, if you want to excel in life, if you want to live a good life, a fun life, an enjoyable life, an adventurous life, you have to push yourself to that edge. You have to be willing to see where your fear is and push yourself up into that point, right? And this means experimenting. It means trying things. It means putting yourself out there, right? Just like me recording this video right now, I am putting myself out there, right? There's a lot of people who might think, oh, this is dumb. This is a terrible idea. This is a waste of time, right? There's a little part of me that's like, afraid, fearful. What are people going to say? What are people going to think? Is this going to be any good? Is this going to pick up? Is this going to go anywhere, right? But this is me putting myself out there and sharing, I was going to say my gift, but this gift with the world, right? And in that way, I grow and we all grow, and this is something that we can all benefit from, right? So the question is, where are you in your life? Are you always living safe, playing it safe, holding back? Or are you willing to push the boundaries of where you need to get to that next level? Now, this doesn't mean you need to immediately jump off a cliff, right? This isn't saying, okay, go crazy and jump off a cliff. This is saying, what's that next step? What's that next step that's just a little bit scarier than when you are now? What's that 1% improvement, right? Go do that 1% improvement. And then once you're there and once that gets comfortable, do that next 1% that just pushes you to that next level, right? Pushes you just that next little bit and keep going, right? And it's saying the importance here of know where your edge is and don't fake it, because I think a lot of people too, they do try to fake it, right? That's where the whole like Instagram culture is of like everybody's got a Lamborghini and everybody makes, like $10 bajillion a second, right? And they live on a beach, right? Because everybody's trying to overdo it, to overplay their hand, and to show, hey, look at this amazing life that I live, and they're trying to overstep their edge, but they're not actually living at their edge. They're faking it, right? And we can all sense that fakeness, and we don't trust it, right? And so we're all looking for people in our lives that are genuine, that are true, that are authentic, that push themselves to the point where they find scary, but they're still willing to show up and they're willing to do the hard work. Even if nobody's watching, even if it's embarrassing, whatever they have to do, they just keep pushing themselves to that next level. And I invite you to do the same. All right, fam. We're going to be back with more The Way of the Superior Man. Arthur here, signing out. We'll be back soon.